Hey everybody, welcome back to the Light Side Reaction and Reviews. Today we are checking out the official trailer for Star Wars Tales of the Underworld on Disney Plus May the 4th. It started off, of course, with Tales of the Jedi, which was a great series. These are shorts, they're not like full-length episodes. In the first season, it was called Tales of the Jedi, and I really loved it. It gave us some in-depth background into some of the characters, for example, Count Dooku, some of the original trilogy characters, and gave us some insight into Yaddle was one of them, and how they met their demise or had their origins and their way of thinking, and helped us to sympathize with some of these characters and to understand some of the background as to why they were the way they were, how they formed their opinions and belief systems that led to their character development throughout the movies. Season 2 was called Tales of the Empire. It followed a couple of new characters, and I wasn't really as invested in those as I was in Season 1, but it was a decent series as well. I enjoyed it. Now they're back with Season 3, and it's called Tales of the Underworld. This is exciting for me because the Underworld has to do with the bounty hunters, that sort of thing. And as a fan of the original trilogy, back when I was a kid, I was a huge fan of particularly The Empire Strikes Back. When the first Star Wars came out, I wasn't hugely impressed with it. I enjoyed parts of it. But there were parts I didn't really care for, particularly the space fights in the last third of the movie. But the first 2/3 of the movie I absolutely loved. And then I loved the comic books. I started reading those about the same time as The Empire Strikes Back came out. And that's when I became a huge fan of Star Wars and have been ever since. And so I absolutely loved The Empire Strikes Back. I loved Return of the Jedi. And then, read the comics all throughout the Marvel years, starting with Return of the Jedi, or The Empire Strikes Back. Went back and read the ones before then, and ended up falling in love with the original Star Wars movie too, A New Hope. And then they came out with the prequel trilogy, and I loved it for completely different reasons than I loved the original trilogy. It gave us more insight into the politics of the Star Wars galaxy, and that was really interesting to me. And to see Anakin's story arc, and the other characters as well, particularly Obi-Wan Kenobi became a huge character. Obviously he was a huge influential character on the original trilogy, but as he had his ending of sorts in the first installment, and then came back only as a Force ghost in passing for the next two installments. You had to go back to the original trilogy to really get in depth with his character, and he was almost as big a character in the original trilogy as Anakin was, maybe even bigger, and depending on your perspective, how you look at it. From a certain point of view, as he would say in later years. But anyway, I love those characters, and I loved, especially in Tales of the Jedi, how it went back and gave us some more insight into those characters in these little short episodes that were like 6 to 10 minutes long, approximately. 15 minutes tops, I think, was about the average length. And so now they're back with this third season called Tales of the Underworld, which is going to apparently give us some insight into some of the bounty hunters, which we were introduced to, of course, in originally in The Empire Strikes Back. We met Boba Fett and Bossk, IG-88, and the others, and just wanted to learn more about those because we just saw them in passing, but they were just so interesting visually as characters, and we wanted more of them. And so that's how I got to know them, is through the comic books. And then you go back to the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and they started focusing on some more of these bounty hunters and that type of character. And then you got into the Clone Wars, and they really started to flesh out some of these characters and introduced us to some of these ones that have stuck with us throughout the years. and have really become characters that are staples to the Star Wars franchise. And so I'm excited to see what they do with these bounty hunter characters and the underworld in which they live and do their sort of thing. And so let's check out the trailer here coming on May 4th to Disney Plus, Tales of the Underworld. And here we go.
Just do as I say. Never can be too cautious with strangers out here. Then again, you're no stranger, Lady Ventress.
Asajj Ventress is back.
We got a problem here. Just saw him right in.
Oh, Cad Bane. Love him. Awesome.
What's the situation?
He was your best friend.
Things have changed. You took everything from me. Who are you?
I was Count Dooku's lead assassin. I don't want that life anymore.
Okay, was that Ezra? No, that's not Ezra. I don't know who that character is.
Bane? No one needs to die.
Is that Vader? No, it's not Vader. Two bounty hunters
Get them.
will survive in the shadows. Okay, Asajj has her yellow lightsaber. So this is after the Bad Batch.
You're gonna pay for what you did. This revenge, I hope it's worth it. It will be.
Tales of the Underworld, coming May 4th to Disney Plus. Okay, now this looks interesting. I am really looking forward to seeing this. Okay, so let's talk about it. All right, so we've got Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane are back. Asajj Ventress has her yellow lightsaber, which she had in the last season of The Bad Batch, is where she came back. And of course, that was kind of a surprise because if you read any of the novels, she was supposed to have died before that, was killed in one of the novels. Dark Disciple, I think. Anyway, I don't know the story behind how she survived and ended up coming back, but she did. And she was a completely different character in a lot of ways. She was no longer serving the dark side. She was no longer, a Sith apprentice. And she wasn't really with the good guys either, but she was trying to help. This is a spoiler alert. Spoilers for if you haven't seen The Bad Batch season 3. But trying to help out with Omega and helping her to escape from the Empire that was trying to hunt her down for their purposes. I won't get into all that. And helping the Bad Batch. And of course, she's this kind of character where she's got this dark background, so they didn't know whether they could trust her or not. And so I'm glad to see that she's back. This is apparently taking place after that. So this is in the beginning of the Empire days. This is right before. This will be right before. Actually, it's after Order 66, obviously. So the Empire is in full force. These are the dark times, as it refers to in the original trilogy, and it's before the events of Rogue One and A New Hope. And so Vader's out there somewhere. He may make an appearance in this. Possibly, well, at this time, Vader would be hunting down the surviving Jedi. And so he may be sending his Inquisitors out. They may run into Inquisitors in this series. But Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane are apparently hiding in the shadows. I couldn't tell from that trailer on my first glance, I'll have to watch it again, whether they are working together or whether they're in separate stories. I would like to see this be a continual episodic series of shorts, just like the Bad Batch was and the Clone Wars and stuff like that, where it continues in consecutive order. The one thing I did not like about the first 2 seasons, particularly the first one, was that it bounced around a lot chronologically. It would give you something, after episode 2, and then it would jump back to before episode 1, and then it would jump forward to, the dark times, and just bouncing around all over the place, and so it was hard to follow chronologically. I want to see this follow the storyline of these 2 characters in chronological order with each episode, just so it'd be easier for us as an audience to follow, particularly those that aren't as well versed in the Star Wars galaxy and the franchise as some of the rest of us. A little bit easier to follow and understand. But even for us regular fans that are invested in it, it's easier to follow when you don't have to, consciously jump around in your mind. Okay, now, has this happened yet? Is this in this era or that era or what? Especially when you're meeting new characters, as we seem to be meeting here. I was just doing it here, watching the video, trying to figure out what time frame it was set in, and the yellow lightsaber was a tip-off to me. But, I hope it's episodic, that it's chronological, and I would like to see it focus on both characters. So that would be, it wouldn't follow the same format if they do it that way as the first 2 seasons, Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire. And so if they're going to be consistent, it'll probably bounce around a little bit. But I hope they don't do that, just for my own taste. I hope they do it chronologically so it's easier to follow. Characters in here, of course, I recognize Cad Bane. I love him as a character, and of course, we see him in the future. We know he's going to survive this if they're all set in the same era in the Dark Times, because we see him come back in The Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett, one of those. I keep getting those 2 mixed up because they kind of crossed over with each other. But in that period, we see Cad Bane return. So we know he survives past the original trilogy series. And so, or the original trilogy of movies. And so, I'm excited to see him and see how his character progresses. And I'm excited to see what happens to Asajj Ventress. She's become an amazing, really interesting character. As I said with my last video where I was reacting to Andor Season 2's trailer, where it's coming out, I was impressed with the story arc of Cyril Karn and how it's showing him as a sympathetic character. That's not your typical villain. He's got, depth to his character. Just like one of the reasons why I loved Count Dooku as one of my favorite characters from the original trilogy, my favorite villains, because he's not your typical villain where it's all black and white, but he's got nuance to him. I see the same thing with Asajj Ventress as she's growing as a character. We saw that same thing with Darth Maul to an extent as well, as after the events of the Phantom Menace, when he survived that in the Clone Wars, going into the Clone Wars. In the Clone Wars, we saw how he became a completely different character as well, eventually becoming the character that we saw as a quick cameo in the Han Solo movie. And don't get me started on that. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to save that for another video, the Han Solo movie. But anyway, I am interested in seeing this. It's a series of shorts. I am invested in these characters, and so it's Dave Filoni and Favreau and Filoni. And so anything they do with Star Wars has been good for the most part. They kicked it off with The Mandalorian, which was phenomenal. And then I think it was season 2 or 3 of The Mandalorian. Maybe it was the Book of Boba Fett, where they kind of got a little bit iffy with me. Some of the decisions they made, and maybe that wasn't them, but it was some of the writers they had working with them on their team. For example, in particular, the motorcycle gang that they ended up featuring in there, I thought was pretty lame. They looked like kind of Power Rangers sort of thing with the different collar outfits and stuff. And I thought that was pretty lame. But for the most part, it was a really good series. Just for those few little things that really rubbed me the wrong way. Overall, as far as Disney Star Wars go, it was phenomenal. And so I'm looking forward to this because I know they're behind it. And anything that Filoni and Favreau are involved in is at least going to be decent. It's not going to be overly woke, and it's not going to be, a lot of the typical Disney Star Wars. It's going to be stuff that's focused on an interesting storyline, on good characters, and it's going to have some amazing moments in it. And so, looking forward to seeing it. What do you guys think? Are you going to see it? Are you excited about it? What do you want to see from this series of shorts that they're calling Star Wars Tales of the Underworld? What are you looking forward to or not looking forward to with the other Star Wars properties that's coming up in the near future? Anyway, thank you guys for watching once again. This is Kevin from The Light Side Reactions and Reviews. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you know whenever we add new content. Pretty soon we're going to be starting back up with the Light Side Music Reactions, so get your requests in for your favorite artists, musical artists, and songs that you want me to react to. And we'll get to those throughout this second season of the Light Side Music Reactions. And also on Sunday afternoons, 2 o'clock p.m., we are doing our live streams again, where we eat fast food and review it for all of you guys to join in the chat with us. So if you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications on, you'll know whenever we go live. And I welcome you to join in with the chat. And welcome to the channel. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you next time on the Light Side Reaction and Reviews, which is what we had today, or the Light Side Music Reactions, or our Sunday Afternoon Muck Club. Thanks again for watching. See you later. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.